Hi guys, welcome back. So today we are going to go over the general Walt Disney World map. So this is just to give you an idea of where things are when I talked about them in a previous video, which I'll link to up above, and also to give you an idea of where things are for your trip. So this is as zoomed out as the map will go, and you can see this is where the airport is, and then this is the Walt Disney World complex. So it gives you an idea of how far away they are. If you do fly in and you're staying at a Walt Disney World hotel, you are able to get Magical Express, which is a bus service that will bus you to your resort directly, and that is complimentary. So we're going to zoom in on the resort itself. So we can see, first of all, you've got Magic Kingdom right here, Epcot down here, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, which are the two water parks, and then Disney Springs. So we're going to start by looking at the Magic Kingdom area. So we have the Magic Kingdom Park, the Grand Floridian, and then its DVC section right here. Poly, who has their DVC built into their resort. You've got Wilderness Lodge right here with the DVC both inside of the resort itself and also right here. You've got the Contemporary and Bay Lake Tower. And then right over here we have the campgrounds. So we're not going to go over anything that isn't directly run by Disney. So there are hotels that are on Disney property that aren't run by Disney, they're run by other parties. So we aren't going to be going over that in this video. So this is one of the golf courses. So, and then what you can see right here, this is the Ticket and Transportation Center. So this is technically the parking lot for Magic Kingdom. If you come to Magic Kingdom as a day guest or using your car, you're going to actually park it in this parking lot, and then you will come through the Ticket and Transportation Center, the TTC as it's used for an acronym, and you will either choose to take the monorail to Magic Kingdom, or there's a boat service that'll take you to Magic Kingdom. So you can see the loop of the monorail that will take you to the resorts, and then also, of course, Magic Kingdom right here. The other thing you can do at the Ticket and Transportation Center is you can take a monorail to Epcot. And so this is the path that monorail takes. And then we get to Epcot. So just to zoom out a little bit, give you a better view of that. So that'll take you all the way from here down to here. Okay, so then we've got Epcot, we've got Beach Club and Yacht Club, we've got the Boardwalk. The Boardwalk's DVC is over here. Beach Club's is right around here, right in this area. And then we've got the lake that goes down and connects to Hollywood Studios. You've also got the walkway that you can take. Okay. And then we're going to zoom out, not quite that far. Okay, so we have Art of Animation and Pop Century right here. So this area right in here is typically referred to as the Epcot Hotel section. So then you've got Caribbean Beach right here. And then we're going to go over, that's Typhoon Lagoon right there, Disney Springs. And there's a lot of hotels in this area, a lot of them are right over here, that are not run by Disney. So then we've got Saratoga Springs, another golf course, and then we've got Old Key West. You're going to continue down the waterfront, French Quarter, and Riverside for the Port Orleans. So we're going to zoom out a little bit so you can get a general idea of where those are all located within the complex of this area. These are the Disney Springs resorts. Okay, So you can see them here and in relation to Epcot. We're going to go over here a bit. You've got Coronado Springs Resort. You've got Blizzard Beach. You've got Animal Kingdom Theme Park right here. Animal Kingdom Lodge and its DVC go right here. And then you have the Disney All-Star Complex right here. So you've got sports, music, and then movies. So that just gives you an idea where everything's located. Then right here we have the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. Sometimes you can go to events here if you're coming to Disney World for something like, say, a sporting event, then that will be here. If you're coming to do one of the marathons, that'll be here. So that kind of stuff happens here, but there's not a lot of stuff to do at this location outside of that. So one of the things you will notice is that there's a lot of land that isn't developed. You've got this giant piece right here. You've got land up in this area that isn't developed. And part of that is because when they purchased Walt Disney World, when the Walt Disney Company purchased the land and started to develop, there were people who were concerned about that development. And they wanted to make sure that that the land wasn't destroyed and that it didn't end up looking the way that Disneyland looks, in that it's very, very commercial and all of the area around Disneyland is commercialized at this point. And so they actually made a promise with the people of Florida that they would leave 1/3 of the land undeveloped forever. And so that land is to never be built on, to never be touched. And so that's left in its natural habitat. And then, but what's interesting about that is that at this point, Disney World only has developed 1/3 of the land that it owns. Which means that they could actually double everything they have and still be within that agreement that they made to not develop 1/3 of the land. So that's something that's kind of cool and exciting, is the idea that there's still a lot of room for growth within the Walt Disney World complex, while still being respectful of the land itself. It's a really cool thought to think that they have that opportunity if they want in the future to add more parks, add more resorts, that kind of thing. So one thing that isn't on the map is right around this area is a outlet mall. And that outlet mall has a Disney outlet store. And that is a great place to go. We went on our honeymoon there to get souvenirs at a very good discount. We got about $300 worth of merchandise and paid $80 for all of it. So if you have the time in your schedule, I very much recommend going to the outlet, just because there's so much to see there, and there's oftentimes really great deals. It's not a traditional outlet mall where things are made for it. It is actually the leftovers of products that were made for the parks and didn't sell, or they had too much of, or whatever, and they end up in the outlet store. So that's in this general area. You can't get to it with Disney transportation. You are going to need to get an Uber or a Lyft to get there, or to have your own rental car, but it is in this general area. So, and then we're going back to something that I talked about in an earlier video, which is the bubble. So it's probably easier to understand that now when you're looking at this map and you see how much land they really have at Disney World, and how, all of the roads are done by Disney, all of the maintenance of this land is done by Disney. And so you can go from your resort to Epcot, to Magic Kingdom, to Disney Springs, and back to your resort, and you never leave Disney property, especially if you use Disney transportation. So, like I've mentioned in other videos, all of the resorts have bus service to at least some locations. So, we are going to go over a few notes so that you have an idea. If you're staying in this area, you will have boat transportation to Magic Kingdom at the least. And then if you're on the monorail, you will have monorail access to Magic Kingdom. So Wilderness and the campgrounds have buses to all other locations. Grand Floridian, Poly, and Contemporary do not. They require you to take the monorail, get to ticket and transportation, and then take the monorail to Epcot. Now, occasionally, if something's going on and the monorail is down, they might offer a bus service that can either be from your resort itself or from the Ticket and Transportation Center. So that's something to check before you head out for the day is, if the monorail is working to Epcot, because then you may be taking a bus instead. So, moving on, we are going to talk about the Epcot resorts. So for these resorts, you have boat access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and for everything else, you will have a bus. So you can take the boat to Epcot, you can take the boat to Hollywood Studios, you can of course walk to both, and then otherwise you will have a bus. Now occasionally, I know that this past spring, the boat service to Hollywood Studios was suspended for a little while. And so at that time, they did offer a bus to get you from these parks to Hollywood Studios. So they'll never leave you resorted to the effect of like you have to walk all the way to Hollywood Studios. You can always get a bus if another mode of transportation is down. Coronado Springs completely relies on bus service. Caribbean Beach completely relies on bus service. These resorts right here, so Port Orleans Riverside, French Quarter, Saratoga Springs, and Key West, have boat service to Disney Springs. They also have bus service at least at the Port Orleans resorts. I am not 100% confident about that for Old Key West, and I don't think they do for Saratoga Springs because there is a walkway with a little bridge you can take. So I don't believe they offer a bus from Saratoga Springs to Disney Springs, but I believe they do for Old Key West, and I know they do for the Orleans resorts. Art of Animation and Pop Century completely rely on bus service. All Stars completely are reliant on bus transportation, as are the Animal Kingdom Lodge resorts. So one thing that they are currently building, though, that is going to change the landscape of this is a new system of transportation called the Gondola System. So the Gondola System is going to connect the Art of Animation and Pop Century resorts to Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Caribbean Beach. And so these are going to be kind of like a Skyliner sort of situation. And so, like the kind of thing you'd see, you know what? It's just going to be easier to show you. One moment. So, here we go. This is a good one to look at. So they are going, so this is what the system is going to look like. That's what they mean when they say gondolas or skyliner. It's going to be these little pods on a cable. And then this is the map. So you can see it's going to go from Art of Animation and Pop Century. It's going to go up. There's going to be a station here if you want to transfer over. It's going to continue up. And then it's going to go over, and then it's going to stop at Epcot. So you're going to be able to get off at Epcot here, which is the DVC section of Caribbean Beach that they're currently building. This is going to be the main transfer point, and this is also a Caribbean Beach. You're going to be able to get off at Hollywood Studios, and then you're going to be able to get off at Art of Animation and Pop Century. So that is something that they are currently working on. It's supposed to be up within the next year or so. They want to have it operational, and they want to be used to the operation of it before the 50th anniversary. So I know that the gondola system for Epcot is being built right here. We have been seeing that work. So that's going to drop you off right here, right outside of the International Gateway. Hollywood Studios is going to be dropping you off right in the parking lot. Caribbean Beach is going to have two. So they're building one right here, and that's going to be where you're going to transfer. And then there's also going to be one right up here, and this is where that DVC section is being built. And then it's going to go down, and it's going to be right in the center between Art of Animation and Pop Century. So it's going to be right in this area, right in here. So that is the last bit of change for transportation. So obviously, when that occurs, these resorts, Caribbean Beach, Art of Animation, and Pop Century, will then all have gondola transportation access to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. My assumption would be that they will still offer buses, because I can't imagine that the amount of people that system can handle is going to be enough for all three of these resorts, on top of Boardwalk and Yacht, because people can take that down if they'd wish. So that would be my assumption, that they will still have bus systems, but they have not specifically stated that. So we are going to talk for the last thing we're going to cover quick is what it means to have bus transportation and what that will get you to. So we're going to take a look at Animal Kingdom Lodge, because it has no transportation outside of buses. So, and that's in this area. So if you want to, so there is a bus offered to all 4 parks. So there's a little bus area at every resort. I'll show you where Animal Kingdom Lodges is. So theirs is right here. So you will have, you can kind of see you have 5 sections. You have, let's say this is Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom and Blizzard Beach, and then Disney Springs and Typhoon Lagoon. So what this means is that if you wish to go to Blizzard Beach, you actually have to go and take a bus to Animal Kingdom, and then once you're at Animal Kingdom and you're dropped off in their bus area, you will have to change your bus and wait for another bus that will then take you to the water park. And it's a similar situation, excuse me, to get to Typhoon Lagoon. To get to Typhoon Lagoon, you have to go to Disney Springs, change buses, and then be dropped off at Typhoon Lagoon. So one of the best recommendations I can give you is the idea that you should probably if you can, take an Uber or Lyft to the water parks, because that transfer means that your ride can take an hour very easily. So that's how you get to the water parks. The theme parks, you can just take a bus that will take you directly to that theme park, and you can also take a bus that will take you directly to Disney Springs. If you want to get to a different resort, so you are staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but you want to go over to Art of Animation for a meal, you are going to have to take a bus to one of the theme parks or Disney Springs, and then once at that location, then change buses to get to the next resort. So that means taking a bus from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Hollywood Studios, and once you're at Hollywood Studios, getting on a bus for Art of Animation to get over to the resort, and then doing the same in reverse to get back to your hotel. So oftentimes, if you're looking to get to a hotel for a meal or something, which is a great thing to do, the hotels have some wonderful restaurants, it's probably going to be best to take a Lyft or an Uber if you can afford it. It's really going to save you a lot of time. Just like the water parks take an hour to get to, going from one hotel to another is also going to take you an hour, unless you're going within something like the monorail loop, where you could just continue on the monorail to get to another hotel. So that is the overview of the Walt Disney World Resort map. So if there were any things I missed, if there's any questions you have, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, magical day, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.